So I'm making this video to talk about this video here. The Nephilim look like clowns, and I recommend checking this video out. It has tons of this interview. I don't know. I think it's the guy being interviewed is his name's Paul. Paul something, I can't remember. Paul Stobbs. Yeah, he has tons of good info, man, and he really knows his shit about clowns and how clowns represent the reptilians and these non-human entities that get involved in human affairs. But the only thing I do not like about this video is the fact that the guy doing the interview and Paul Stobbs himself, they both believe in Jesus Christ. They both believe in the Bible story. And in the Bible story, I just don't understand why I can't find any perfect truther out there. So a truther that can give out a lot of good info like Paul Stobbs does, but at the same time is logical enough, to see beyond, the Christian hoax, the Christian contradiction. And so, and that's one thing, I really like about, and not to advertise for the joy of Satan or anything, but that's one thing, that I've always liked about the JOS, and that's what sucked me into the JOS to begin with, was the fact that they were able to see beyond, they were able to see beyond the Christian hoax. But the only thing faulty about the JOS is that they promote the idea that there's good aliens or good gods getting involved in human affairs, and that's and that's part of the psyop. That's always been the psyop. The idea that humanity was created by good gods, which is not true. Fairly certain on that. I won't say I'm 100%, but I'm going to say I'm around 80%, maybe a little more, that humanity was never created by good gods. We were created to be a psychic exploit. I doubt any very, very advanced alien civilization out there within our cosmos would go through the trouble in creating, and getting directly involved in the natural evolution of another species, speeding up their evolution, beyond. We're not a natural product of evolution, and if you speed up if you gene splice another species, like the aliens that control this planet did with our ape-like ancestors, you gene splice them, you speed up their evolution. There's going to be spiritual and psychological hang-ups over that. So there's going to be problems caused. It's just not ethical to do. And and I doubt any ethical aliens would do that, and just to create some sort of playmates, or they feel lonely and they want to create these these humans out of some ape, out of some monkey. And it's to me it's silly, man. But it makes more sense if humanity was created to be an exploit, and I could see, and I can easily see a very advanced alien civilization doing this. I can't see any very advanced alien civilization creating something, gene splicing and genetically engineering, an intelligent species like man, just to be some sort of playmate or friend. It makes more sense that they would do it, to exploit. Anyways, though, yeah. So that's the only problem I have with the JOS. And other than that, though, the Joy of Satan is like one of the best sources out there for in regard to occult knowledge, and about the mind, about our place here on this planet, and within the universe too. One of the best sources out there for info, man. But anyways, yeah, I just want you guys just to get an idea, like, who is, who, just to get an idea who Paul Stobbs is. I'll let you guys watch this very fast.
Hold us straight up.
Yeah. The clown is a representation of the real thing, which is the Nephilim, or in that film somehow. I don't know how. There's many theories on how that's going to happen, but there's some kind of mind game going on right now to do with the
Killer
clowns.
Clowns from Outer Space. You ever seen that movie? I think it's.
I've seen clips. Really? I've seen clips of it. Yeah, I think there's an interesting quote from the director of that. Someone asked him, like, why do they look like clowns, or something like that, and he says, no, clowns look like them. And that's basically my entire theory. You know what I mean? Like,
hold us straight up.
The clown is a representation of the real thing, which is the Nephilim, or in that film's case, aliens. You know what I mean? That's always that's the new age way of saying it. Are there aliens from outer space rather than demons from another dimension?
It's because they are aliens, and they are from outer space. I mean, I just don't know if they're from this universe or another. And you can be from another universe and still be, aliens. I mean, it's traveling, between, wormholes or black holes, into parallel universes, and so, I mean, time travel, for being a fourth-dimensional being, I think you have the capability of doing this, because the fourth dimension is all about time, and when you're a fourth-dimensional being, you have access to time in a way to where you could travel back and forth through it, and I mean, you're a master of it, so, I mean, but it's plausible, man. I mean, the whole alien thing, I'm, again, I'm not 100% certain on this, that, what controls humanity is aliens, but it's a lot more plausible than the Christian bullshit, because Christianity itself, that story, dude, I mean, it's so, I've been debating and having arguments with Christians for about 20 years of my life, and I've never, I would say that I've never lost a debate, and not once, not truly, especially when I started to learn how to argue with these people, and none of them could and no Christian can ever argue with logic. They can dodge it. They can throw in, they could try to, deflect in answering certain questions that would put them in that corner to where they would have to acknowledge that Christianity is based on a contradiction, or is centered around it, a literal contradiction, which is God, and I mean, so some of these, I mean, the smart Christians, and I have a hard time believing, there is any smart Christians out there. I think the smart ones are actually reptilians, but and those reptilians, they front, they act like Christians, but they're not. I mean, they front and they promote, the lie, because it keeps, because Christianity is designed to remove occult power and knowledge, and it's designed to keep occult power and knowledge, from being known. So a lot of these smart, quote unquote, Christians would I mean, they're very good with the word salad. They're like Masons in a way, Freemasons, and or people that support like Manly P. Hall, like or H.P. Blavatsky, or who's the other, really big, mainstream occultist, Carl Jung, I think his name was. He was that, that psychiatrist, and I think he was also a Mason too, or something like that. But a lot of Masons like to promote, mainstream occultism, and I mean, or they like to promote these figures, and then they try to or a lot of reptilians do too, and they like to promote this idea that there's a way out, through secret societies such as Freemasonry, a way out of this matrix, but and you can only access, I mean, you can only get out of Plato's cave, through the guidance that these mainstream occult figures or Freemasonry, secret societies such as Freemasonry, provide you. And the JOS is the same way. They say, the only way out is through the gods. And it's just it's bullshit, dude. Like the gods, they created this situation here on this planet, that has. They've cut us off from that one side, from the spiritual side of the soul, third eye blind, and then they created these secret societies, to act as spiritual fronts to get people falsely believing, that there's a way out through the system, and so again, the people don't take personal responsibility for their own, situation. Instead, they again turn to these secret societies or these mainstream occultists or the JOS, and they expect to a holding hand, somebody to hold their hand out of this matrix, and it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen, man. But anyways, though, it drives me nuts, though, with Christianity. I fucking hate that religion so fucking much, man. I hate it with all my heart, dude. And I would do everything in my power to see the Jesus thought form, to see Jesus, his name, die. I would do everything in my power to see Jehovah's name die. I fucking hate it. I can't express to you guys just how much I hate Christianity and any religion like it. And I know, I think the Latin word for religion too is religare, or the root word for religion I think is in Latin is religare, and it's in the definition behind the word religare is to bind. So again, religion, it's a binding spell, and it's a spell. It's a powerful spell that keeps humanity from seeing beyond this matrix, beyond Plato's cave. And the only way, the Christian spell can be broken, and JOS is 100% right about this, is through the occult, through occult power and knowledge. So, but yeah, I just wish people like Paul Stobbs, why can't I have a conspiracy theorist that talks about all the same shit he talks about, but at the same time is able to see past the Christian nonsense? These people just can never do it, man. You never get anything perfect within Plato's cave. It never happens. It just drives me nuts. And last point I want to make about Christianity is, I argue with, most Christians, every Christian I have an argument with, I try to get them to acknowledge that God is neither all powerful, or he's not loving, or he's beyond, logic. Period. And if it's the third, then how do you know, that you're even worshiping the right God? It's just, how do you know that, the Islamic version of God isn't the right God? How do you know that this version over here isn't the right God? Or this, it's just, you can't know, so why not just live your life honestly as an agnostic and say, I don't know who God is. And I don't know if God can ever be known. And be honest, man. And that's where I stand. I want to call myself an agnostic because I'm at the stance to where, I don't know, if there truly is a God or if there isn't. And so, that's where I stand, and I think it's very unwise for anybody to be 100%, certain, that there is one, or take the atheist stance and just say that there isn't. Either way you go about it, I think is, it's unwise. So why not just take the middle ground and say, I don't know. But a lot of Christians like to say that, God is loving, and if he was loving, then why would he create evil? And then, he did it out of free will, and it's like, well, if he did it out of free will, is he? He's all powerful, right? And then certainly he could create a universe that has no evil whatsoever, and would still be able to give man free will. He would still be able to do it, and they just, most Christians, man, almost more than 90% of the ones I've argued with just can't wrap their mind around that concept that an all-powerful God does not need to create a universe with evil in order to give man free will. And if he needs to create evil in order to give man free will, then guess what? He's not all powerful. He's not. And there's limits. So technically he's not God. You know what I mean? And most Christians just can't wrap their mind around that. It's such an easy thing too. It's so easy to wrap your mind around that concept, and they just can't for the life of them. And so I've come to the conclusion that most Christians are actually fucking NPCs, or possibly even reptilians, and I don't know, because there's different types of reptilian hosts walking the streets. Some people, some of these hosts out here, I don't think realize that they're actually reptilians. Like they're kept themselves from knowing the truth, about their true nature. And then some of these hosts, they know what they are, and these ones, the ones that seem to be aware, anyways, all the ones that I've encountered that also seem to be aware of what they are also psychic, can always read my mind, always can, and sometimes they mock me, but because I have conversations with some of these reptilians on the internet, and sometimes they mock me by reading what I'm thinking and then typing it all out in front of me, and then doing some little edgy wink. And when people wink at you, that's a reptilian thing, I wink at people sometimes too, especially when I have arguments, just to try to fuck with them. It's pretty lowly of me to do, to resort to these tactics. But I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect person, man. I'm only human, but then again, don't take my word for it, because you don't know if I could be lying, I could be a reptilian too. I'd never tell anybody to take my word for anything, because I'm an advocate for free thought. I'd much rather tell you to open up your third eye and come to conclusions yourself. Don't trust anybody until you open your third eye, and then because with an open third eye comes a lot more, truth and knowledge, and your and the ability to see through, lies. I don't believe a third eye is would allow you to see through, all levels of deception, but it would certainly help you see through the level of deception that is like that these aliens operate on, that level within this matrix. So yeah, anyways though, that's pretty much all I want to say, man. I just fucking hate Christianity, but anyways, I love Paul Stobbs' work. His work is awesome, and his knowledge on clowns and these aliens, which he falsely believes are spirits that are tied to the biblical contradiction. That's the only problem I have with him. But other than that, man, this guy, he puts out some of the some really good information, and I definitely recommend checking this video out. I'll put the link to this video in the video description so you guys can watch it for yourselves.